Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft, and I mock it, just giving you my views, opinions, thoughts, perspective. I love looking at other people's perspective when it comes to these mock drafts. It opens up your eyes to new and different prospects. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through Charlie Campbell's mock draft here on Water Football. I'll leave a link in the description below. It's a 2-rounder, so if you want to go check it out for yourself, we're just going to go over one round. You can check out the other round in the description. But yeah, I guess let's go ahead and do this thing. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. This was done Friday, September 24th, but it was requested to me during my stream on Sunday, yesterday, when we were checking out Tom Brady lose to Matthew Stafford. So, yeah, feel free to always suggest other mock drafts to me to check out. They're a blast doing it. It's a fun thing to do. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Vegas betting odds. Don't cry about the order. Again, this was done before week 3, so we got the first round, Jacksonville Jaguars, Kayvon Thibodeau. Makes a ton of sense. Take the best player on the board. You already got your quarterback in place. Thibodeau makes a ton of sense. The dude's probably the best prospect in this draft, especially considering how murky the quarterback class is. And it didn't get any clearer after this past weekend. All right, this is probably the Detroit Lions, right? Detroit Lions, Aiden Hutchinson. This is the earliest I've seen him gone. And hey, I'll give credit where credit is due. The people at Water Football have been extremely high on Aiden Hutchinson. I had some questions about him. Yeah, I bring this up all the time. I didn't feel like he would be. I felt more so that he'd be a late first rounder to this day 2 type of guy, just because we didn't see that flexibility, that bend, that get off in 2019, and then in the extremely little bit in 2020. I think before he broke his leg or something. But he has come back a man on a mission, destroyed a very good draft prospect in Jackson Kirkland, and I would say he is definitely worthy of a top 15, top 10 pick at this point. It's just a guy with his type of length and his type of strength is really hard to subdue. As you saw in that Jackson Kirkland matchup, man, he literally got bullied. He has some very, very good pass rushing techniques. Like, he's just very good with his hands. He's got very good moves with his hands, good hand counters. The dude is just a good prospect. This still does feel a bit early for him if I'm Detroit. I don't know what else do you consider here? Maybe a corner. Jeffrey Okudah, he's out for the year, so there's not a real good gauge on what he is as a prospect or as an NFL player just yet. You just have the rookie season, and really rookie seasons, they could be a wash to some extent. They got Fonte Melifonwu, they got Owari, is it Amani Okawari? Something like that. I can't remember. The former Penn State corner. But they could maybe add a corner here. Maybe add an edge rush isn't a bad idea. I think Kyle Hamilton would be a consideration at this spot too. So, interesting. I'm not opposed to it. It feels a bit high. But a guy that has been probably one of the hottest risers this college football season. Carolina, the Atlanta Falcons, they go ahead and get their quarterback of the future. That team does look like it's in straight rebuild. Hey, there's no denying it, man. Matt Corral might be the hottest quarterback currently in this class. We're gonna find out a lot this Saturday against Alabama, which, by the way, we're gonna be streaming a watch-along, Alabama versus Ole Miss. Join me for that. That's gonna be a ton of fun. But he probably has been the best-looking quarterback thus far this season. That I could really think off the top of my head. Malik Willis has looked pretty darn good too. Yeah. So yeah, get your franchise quarterback. Why not? At this point, you could go with corner. You could go with pass rush. But at this point, you're taking the third best pass rusher. Like, I got Kingsley and Agbar in this type of area too. Like as a top 10 prospect, he's been very dominant this year. And then we have the Jets. They're going Derek Stingley. They're bad at corner. Take the best corner on the board. Just improve that cornerback room. It just makes a ton of sense. Derek Stingley. I don't even think he played this week against... who'd they play? Mississippi State. Yeah, I don't think he played this week. And the Houston Texans go Spencer Rattler. This might change. Benefit of the doubt, this was before the whole bench Rattler chance. The we want Caleb, meaning Caleb Williams, the backup. I think it's Williams, but the backup chance. Like it was a rough weekend if you were Spencer Rattler. At offense, man, it's been one of the more disappointing offenses. It's right up there with Clemson in terms of how disappointing the offense has been this year. Spencer Rattler. Like he could turn it around. Like the arm talent is there with a guy like this. Maybe he returns. But then again, you got Caleb Williams right there on the tip of your toes, vying for your spot, maybe a transfer. I don't know. There's a lot of crazy things that can happen. But the Texans, Mills, he looked good in the first half of the Thursday night game, but again, still third round pick. If I could take one of the top quarterbacks off the board, I probably would. But again, very murky. I think Malik, for me, the top two quarterbacks right now, I would say Malik Willis and Sam Howell. Matt Corral, you could throw up in there. Yeah. It's kind of this quarterback class. It's interesting. Got Kyle Hamilton going to the Eagles. It just makes a ton of sense. Kyle Hamilton's really good. I think I did this in my mock. Improving that secondary could go a long way too. Adam Anderson. This is one of the highest spots I've seen for Adam Anderson. I don't know if he's really the type that the Vikings someone came was talking to me in the comments about how the Vikings, they don't like to use high like a first round draft picks on the edge position. They prefer grabbing those guys day two, which there's a little proof in the pudding there. I think Everson Griffin, wasn't he their last first round edge pick? I mean, let's see, Everson Griffin. I think he was. I'm not positive. Don't quote me. This is why you look these things up. You think they would have that like right off the top. Yo, where is his wiki? Oh, here's his Wikipedia. No, he was in the 4th round. Well, there's proof in the pudding. Adam Anderson's been really good, but he's a guy that's he's a bit undersized. He's 6'5", but he's like 230, maybe 235. He's mainly used as a pass rusher, almost exclusively. Doesn't see a lot of run defense downs. But dude's extremely good pass rusher. He has a sack in every game this year, except for the Vandy game where the starters played like less than 20 snaps. So yeah, that game was kind of a whoop. And then we're going to the Bengals. Evan Neal, he falls here. I think Evan Neal's top 5 prospect. I think he gets snagged up. a bit earlier than this. We'll see. Good players, they fall in the draft. They list him up here at guard as well, but I think he's playing tackle. He's been looking mighty fine this year. And then this is the first, I think, surprise pick in the draft is Jermaine Johnson. He's actually Jermaine Johnson the second. If you don't know about this guy, I've only watched one game of him. Believe it or not, I don't watch Florida State much till probably after the year. They're not a good team. But Jermaine Johnson, he's a transfer from Georgia. He was stuck behind a lot of quality pass rushers there on that Georgia line. But he's got the size, 6'5", 262. And he started the year off really well. Like, he played a banger game against Notre Dame, coming up with 2 sacks. He has 7 sacks on the year. Granted, almost half his sacks and half of his pressures came against Jackson State. Again, I've only watched the Notre Dame game. I can't really speak to how dominant he's been in these other games. I'm just here looking at the statistics. But 9 pressures, 3 sacks against Jacksonville State. But he has produced. He has at least 3 or more sacks in the last 2 games against Wake Forest, against Louisville. So there's some legitimacy there. I don't know in an edge rushing class this good if you would consider this guy a first round pick. But 6'5", 262, good size. He looked good in the Notre Dame game. I'm not going to discount him. I'm just very intrigued. I'm probably will go back and watch more this week of him then. See if he's a guy that I need to put up on my my rankings right now. And then we got George Karlaftis coming in here. See, I'd be thinking he's playing a Y9 role maybe. He's another guy you can maybe have come in and play that 5 tech. Because Jerry Tillery hasn't been any good at that. The only problem is stupid strong, stupid powerful, lacks bend, lacks length, kind of feels like a guy you kick to the interior anyway. I think he'd be really good actually in the Chargers scheme. Playing that 5 tech, just have him kind of like shooting through gaps. It makes a ton of sense to me. He's been dominant this year. 10 still feels a bit high considering just, again, how good this draft class is. There's guys like Kingsley Enagbare. I think it's Enagbare. I think is how you say it, Enagbare. But, dude, Myjon Sanders, Nick Benito. There's been a lot of... This edge class is good. And then Trevor Pennon being the second offensive tackle taken off the board. He had an impressive game against Iowa State. Not going to lie to y'all, that's the only game I've seen of him. He played very well, shut down a guy like Will McDonald, was impressive. He has way better analytics than his former teammate Spencer Brown. They're about the same size, big and athletic. Like, it could happen. He's going to need a big off season, I think, to really carry his draft stock into the first round, but it definitely could happen. Patriots take Travon Walker out of Georgia. Another guy I haven't watched a ton of, but interesting size and how he's utilized there at Georgia. 6'5", 275. Here, I'll scroll up a little bit. Cough, cough. But he's been used kind of all over the line. A majority of his snaps have come outside of the tackle. But on those second and third down snaps, he kind of kicks inside. He either kicks over up top the tackle, play like a 5 tech, or he kicks into the 3 tech role. Like, the guy's, he's even lined up at nose tackle once during this season. He's not exactly what I would call explosive. Like, his stats don't fly off the stat sheet. He's not seen more than 200 snaps in a season. Looks like he'll probably break that this year. Georgia, they really like to keep their defensive line real fresh. But I feel like this is a bit premature. I feel like I want more of a sample size because he's only played a little over 500 snaps his whole career. Guy, he's eligible to come out in 2023, so he could come out in this very stacked edge class. We'll see. I think this is a bit premature for him, but definitely someone the Patriots would probably pick up. Another surprising one here. Because we got no Kyer Elam yet. We have, I believe, no Kyer Elam, no Sauce Gardner, Trent McDuffie, Andrew Booth. They go with Tariq Castro Fields. I feel like maybe Joey Porter, his teammate, has outplayed him a little bit, but he's got good size, 6 foot, 195. He's a redshirt sophomore. He's going to be probably a bit of an older prospect, maybe like I think 22 when he comes out. I mean, he has a 45% completion percentage when thrown at him this season. Not much of a playmaker in coverage. Hasn't allowed a touchdown, though. So, I don't know. Those Penn State corners are guys I need to watch a bit more of. I haven't really... I watched the Auburn game, which it's kind of tough to tell with, Bo Nix back there. It's not like he's very accurate or good quarterback. But I watched the Wisconsin game, but Graham Mertz... you know? So, I don't know. I feel like there's better corners in this class. I feel like this is a bit high for Castro Fields. Maybe again, I feel like he's a day 3 guy as of right now. We'll find out more. Jordan Davis, man, this is so early for him. And they've addressed the defensive line so much recently, especially the interior to that line. Like, granted, Jordan Davis is a little bit different than what they have there. Like Osa Odigizua, a guy they brought in, he's more of this shoot the gap, great get off, passing game disruptor. That's his type of skill. I think he hovers around 280, opposed to Jordan Davis, who's like this 340, 6'6", 6'7", nose tackle, very imposing. The pass rushing upside, it's not great. I feel like he's got the ability to be a consistent disruptor in the passing game, but too much he just kind of relies on, hey, I'm big, meaty, and imposing, you know? Very good run defender, though. I think 14's way too high for him. And even at the end of the first round, I'm kind of hesitant just because there's a few guys we'll talk about. Maybe we'll talk about a couple later. There's a few other guys in this interior class I think are just way more explosive. And then at 15, we got Abraham Lucas. Abraham Lucas had a interesting game against Drake Jackson, where I felt I thought he played the run well. Well, Drake Jackson, that is. But Abraham Lucas completely shut him down as a pass rusher. Like, Abraham Lucas is one of the most battle-tested pass blockers in this class. The Giants, they need help all over the offensive line. Let's be honest. That offensive line is kind of bad. But Abraham Lucas, interesting. Again, this tackle class, I feel like after Evan Neal, it's kind of a toss-up. There's names you could throw out there. Like Darion Kinyard, Kenyon Green. But are those guys tackles or are they guards? Even Kem Ikwanwu, is he a tackle? Is he a guard? I mean, there's Jackson Kirkland, but he got messed up against his real big test. I mean, I think he gets Oregon later this year, so some redemption could be in order there. We have Sean Ryan out of UCLA, but again, is he a tackle? Is he a guard? Yeah, offense. Like, I don't like if my team needs defense, this is the draft class for it. Offense, ton of question marks. Brandon Smith out of Penn State, it's been phenomenal. Guy used to play that overhang roll. Now he's playing it in the middle for Penn State. Has looked really good. He's a guy flying up a lot of boards. At 245, the dude is so explosive downhill. Like, he's a guy that can really knock the pants off the combine. So watch out. Let's go to the second half of this round, this first round. This has been a very interesting. All right, let me close these ads because this site's littered with it. All right. Oh gosh, look at this. I don't even know where I am. Did it take me to the bottom of the page? It took me to the bottom of the page. All right, let's refresh. All right, here we go. All right. Trent McDuffie going to Cardinals. I don't like the scheme fit. Matter of fact, I don't think it is a scheme fit. Thing is with Trent McDuffie, the Cardinals, he's more of this zone-heavy type of corner. They brought in Byron Murphy. It feels like he's kind of it's taken him 3 years to really get acclimated to that defense. Trent McDuffie, I would say, is a better prospect, but still, I feel better about him in a more zone-heavy scheme. And at 18, Rasheed Walker. Now, this is one I just kind of completely disagree with. Rasheed Walker, he's got the size, he's got the physical tools. He just doesn't show up in big games. We saw that last year against Ohio State. We could take a look at this year. Like, all right, Wisconsin ended up allowing. This is the wrong guy. Okay, let me. All right, Wisconsin. He ended up allowing 2 pressures and a sack. Allowed 3 pressures against Auburn. And really, like, he's played well against Ball State and Villanova. But who cares about those games? You need to step up in the big games, and he just hasn't. He's a guy I think is firmly day 2, just because of that upside. Perion Winfrey, oh dude, this guy's been a menace. Him and Jalen Redmond for Oklahoma, they've been monsters on the interior of that defense. There's a couple of guys in this interior class that have really flashed. It's tough to say, man, if any of them could go first round. Like, I like Travis Jones out of Connecticut. It's really the only time you really want to watch Connecticut. Like, he played pretty well against Fresno State. But Jermaine Lowell I liked a lot, but he got hurt. He's not playing this season. Probably not coming out. DeMarvin Leal, by the way, not off the board yet. We're at 19. DeMarvin Leal's a monster. Probably should be off the board. You're going interior and you're not taking DeMarvin Leal. DeMarvin Leal's like top 10, top 5. Great prospect. And Washington football team. They're going with Seven Banks. Seven Banks, man. He has returned this year, right? He came back, played a little bit last week against Tulsa, and was all right. And then he started against Akron and gave up a touchdown. I get it. The dude's got the size, 6'1", 200. He's got speed. He's got length. He's got those elite lockdown, shutdown, cornerback traits. The problem is they don't translate to the field. You could go back, look at that Bama game. National championship. He was a highlight reel for anybody on that offense. The production ain't there. It just ain't. Unfortunately. On to the next cat. DeMarvin Leal finally coming off the board. This is a steal if you're Philly. Being able to get a prospect of this caliber this late. No problem with it. DeMarvin Leal's a monster. Next. All right. We got R.J. Roderick from South Carolina going to the Saints. I'd expect the next safety off the board be like Jalen Catalon, maybe Jordan Battle. There's a couple of other safeties that I think are worth mentioning because like this safety class is pretty darn good. There's what is it? Is it Nick Cross? I think the Maryland safety. Let me hold up. Let me look this cat up. I think it's Nick Cross or Nico Cross. Nick Cross, Maryland. He's been very good. Roderick Strong. I'm talking wrestling now. R.J. Roderick. He's 6', 207. More of this box option. He's been used as such. He has been used deep, to be fair. But over the last 2 years, he's mainly been used as a box guy. Not really a guy that gets a lot of stops. I mean, missed tackle rate's around 20% for his career. I mean, I have to go back and watch more of him. He isn't a guy that really gets in, like, he's not really a playmaker in coverage. I feel like you kind of have to be that. It's the safety position to go in the first round. At least from the looks of it, I'm not sold on this guy. At least as a first round prospect. Jahan Dotson, I feel a lot better with Jahan Dotson day 2. You know, I used to call him the whole, you know, he's a value brand KJ Hamler. I think he's actually better than KJ Hamler at this point. Like, he's displayed the ball skills. That was a problem with KJ Hamler. His ball skills, they weren't ideal. He was really just fast. Dotson's a bit more than that, but I don't know. I feel better about Dotson maybe in the second round, because you do got the height concerns. What is he, 5'10", 175? But I don't know. We'll see, because this wide receiver class, I mean, this is strange, him being the first wide receiver off the board here. You would think it would be a guy like, I don't know, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. Those two, I think, kind of like hands down are the best receivers in this class. Let's keep this sucker rolling. Justin Ross. So no Chris Olave, no Wilson. Justin Ross going to the Colts. I don't mind the. All right, Rossi's mainly playing in the slot, right? He's mainly playing the slot this year. He used to mainly kind of play outside in 2019, 2018, but mainly playing the slot. I will say he has been the best playmaker on that very stagnant Clemson offense. No drops. I'm glad to see that. But also, he's 2-0 at the, or 0-2 at the contested catch point. He's not winning at the catch point, which being in the slot is like his average depth of target now is a lot closer to the line of scrimmage. It's 9 yards down the field, opposed to in the past, it's been like 13 yards plus. So, yeah, they're trying to get the ball to him a lot more early. I don't know if the forced missed tackles are really there. He has 3 through 4 games thus far. I feel better about Justin Ross probably in this day 2. First round, I think, is just a bit outlandish at this point. All right, Daniel Falele, dude, out of Minnesota. I still think he is a project, but you line this cat up on the right side, I think you got the right idea. He's playing right tackle this year. I think he's had a couple of rough games as of late, but you know the ability. He was locked down against Ohio State to open the year. He is a guy that's still developing. Keep in mind, man, like, this is a guy that's new to the position in general. Didn't play it in high school. So, yeah, in a tackle class that's kind of like up for grabs after Evan Neal. If you feel good about this guy, I think he's down. He's at 6, like down from 400. He's like 380. So, moves well. Really wish at that size he had more of a killer instinct. Like, doesn't really feel like he wants to go bury dude. So, I don't know. Maybe I feel like a Darian Kinyard might be a better fit here. Ikem Nwanwu. I'll get his name down. Nwanwu. Way better fit. I think he's he's an ideal scheme fit for the Baltimore Ravens. So, yeah, Falele feels like it's a bit premature. Chris Olave, banger pick, man. He fell here to 26. Packers grab him. I mean, hey, I love Drake London. I love him as a fit for the Packers, but I would take Chris Olave over Drake London. All right, what else we got? Drake Jackson going to the Browns. Listen, I like Drake Jackson maybe more in a 3-4 defense, Y9 type of guy. He's shown to be a very good run stopper, but he's just so inconsistent as a pass rusher. I really want to see consistency. We know what his high end's like. We just need to see it more of the time. Let's keep rolling. We're almost at the end here. Amari Barno out of Virginia Tech. This is a guy that I've seen his name float around a little bit. Good size, 6'6", 245. Probably could fill out at another 10 pounds, considering his frame at 6'6", good length. He's been okay. 9 pressures, 1 sack this year. I only really watched the North Carolina game, which that's kind of the game that put his name on the map, at least as in terms of a legit prospect. But let's be honest, that North Carolina, like, he's faced nothing but bad offensive lines this year thus far. So, let's wait it out with him. I think there's just better prospects currently on the board. But admittedly, I really have only watched a couple of games of him, with only one being the opener, the other coming from 2020. So, I don't mind Tennessee getting an edge rusher, though, with Harold Landry being a free agent. Ali Gay, what the heck? So Ali Gay's been hurt. Did he? I think he played this past week, though. I think he did. So, like Ali Gay's been all right. Like I thought he did a good job of taking the SEC by storm. He's a JUCO transfer. He had 38 pressures, 4 sacks last year on only 333 pass rushing snaps. He has 6 pressures on 67 snaps this year with 2 sacks. And the competition's been pretty good. Mississippi State, UCLA. He probably had to face off with guys like Charles Cross. I know he faced off with Sean Ryan a couple of times, or a handful of times. I still feel better about him day 2. I just think there's guys with better get off than him. You know, he doesn't have the traits that pop off, you know, that pop off the film. Zachary Carter, dude's been a monster. Like, hold on, I want to check what Florida has his playing size as. Because I heard he got up to 290, and I think he's being listed, though, at 280 right now. Oh, whoops. Oh, Florida's not even listed his size. What the heck? They only list him as 6'4". Hold up. I guess let's check out what ESPN has him listed at. 285. All right, so we meet in the middle. He could have a Marlon Humphrey type of, like, Marlon Davidson. There we go, out of Auburn a couple years ago. Type of rise. If y'all ain't new to the channel, you know I've been high on Zachary Carter for a couple of seasons now. I've really loved this kid. So, it feels like a total spag pick if he's going to put him as an edge. Because that's where he's playing a majority of this year now. They're kicking him outside. Like, they like playing him all over the line, but I think a majority of the time this season he has played on the outside. And then final pick here. No, 31. What am I thinking? They go tight end. Guys, there's not a first-round tight end in this class. I hate to break it to y'all. Moving on. Devontae Price out of Florida International is the top running back off the board. I don't think Kaiir Elam. I haven't seen Sauce. No Andrew Booth. No Mijah Sanders. No Nick Benito. He had DeMarvin Leal going at like 20. No Garrett Wilson. Excuse me. No Malik Willis. This is an interesting mock draft. I'll say that. Dante Price, right? Florida International. Let's pull him up real quick. You might be surprised, but I have yet to watch Florida International this year, so. All right. So, all right. What I can tell from the analytics, right? Which this just kind of, analytics helps to tell me who to watch. You know, if I don't know who to watch for a day, if I kind of like caught up on my list, which fat chance I'm always adding names to the list, so then I like to look analytically who's been impressive and why. Devontae Price is not a guy. Like 6'2", 215. That's fine and dandy. It's kind of tall. Doesn't seem like if this was like 5'10", 215, I feel a lot better. But at 6'2", 215. Kind of big, or kind of tall. I'd want you to at least be close to 230 at that size. Put a little meat on the bones. His best game probably came against. All right, well, let's be honest. I don't know who they faced here in opening week, but he had 5 carries for 165 yards. Does he talk about that? No. He just talks about him for this season. Okay. 5 carries for 165 yards. 4 forced missed tackles. He had 4 runs. Well, of course, only 5. He only had 5 carries. Of course, like 4 of them had to go for 10 plus yards. That's just stupid. All right, but the next game, Texas State. See, this is where I know a guy like Treston, I think it's Ebner out of Baylor, who's not even the main back there. He had 20 or 23 forced missed tackles against Texas State. Come here, let's look at this Texas State game. He's got 9 forced missed tackles, half of what Ebner had. And Ebner's probably a day 3 guy. Still, though, that's still impressive, but the past 2 games have not been impressive. He's gone for, I could do the math here in my head, last 2 games against Texas Tech, Central Michigan. 32 carries for 101 yards. 2 touchdowns, that's fine. He had 2 fumbles in the Texas State game, too. He has 5 fumbles throughout his career on 300 career carries, but he only had 6 forced missed tackles in those last 2 games. Like, there's no real receiving upside, at least nothing that tells me he has a receiving upside. The most receiving yards he had in a year was back in 2018. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe you got to watch it. Maybe you got to see it to believe it. But what makes him a better prospect than Breece Hall, Isaiah Spiller, Jerion Ely, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet? Those are like the hottest names right now. Tyler Algier out of BYU. You got Chris Rodriguez. You got my boy McCormick out of UTSA. There's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. But if you want to check out the second round, it'll be in the description below. But that's it for the video. Go ahead. Do that YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later. That was kind of stupid.